Hello Clarets fans, Phil Bird here. Make sure you subscribe to Burnley's official YouTube channel and turn on notifications, otherwise you might miss moments like this. Oh, what a goal! And Wood was there to finish it!
You just spit Glenn Little, look at us.
Enjoy the video and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Up the Clarets.
Pleasant good afternoon, welcome to Glanford Park. The Clarets are here and you know what that's all about. It's a white knuckle ride and a very good afternoon to all those Claret faithful in the James Hargreaves stand nestled down there. And with me is Terry Butterworth, former 2BR reporter. Terry, we deposited our rattles, scarves and bobble hats at the reception for a tie and a jacket and all the rest of it. And incidentally, you've got a very loud claret and blue tie on.
Yeah, we hand them in as well, David, and good afternoon to everybody at Turfmoor. It's a sunny, scunny, as they say, quite a breezy ground at the moment, and the stands are not too high, so the ball will bounce around and swirl around a bit in this breeze. We're not perched up as high as we normally are at Turfmoor in the back of the James Hargreaves stand, and you're right, David, that my loud claret and blue tie, I've worn it once before this season, and that was against Wrexham, where we won 5-0, and I thought, well, it was lucky omen on that night. It's an Ian Austin benefit tie, who's a big Claret supporter, and it's we're all superstitious, all football fans throughout the land, and I thought I'd wear it for this very, very special day here at Glanford Park.
Thank you, Terry. Just to tell you about two substitutes, substitutes being mascots indeed. Burnley have two mascots this afternoon. 7-year-old Lee Cox goes to St Mary's Magdalen School. His hobbies are football, swimming and Subbuteo. His favourite Burnley player is Andy Payton. The other mascot this afternoon here at Glanford Park is Elisa Sherry. She's 10 years old, attends St George's and St Teresa's School in Solihull. Her hobbies are football, swimming and TV. And she also likes Birmingham City. That's a novel one. Her favourite Claret players are Andy Payton and of course Ian Wright. Now then, let's talk about the team situation. First of all, we go to the Irons. In goal, 13, Ross Turner. Number 2, Paul Horsley. Andrew Dawson at 3, Richard Logan wears 4, Chris Hope the captain at 6, Justin Walker at 7, Lee Hodges at 8, Steve Torpey at 10, 29 Brian Quayle, Mark Jackson at 16 and Nathan Stanton at 18. On the bench for Scunthorpe, number 12 Gary Bull, 25 Guy Ipoa, 27 Terry Barwick, 15 Ashley Ficklin and finally number 9 Gareth Sheldon. And the Clarets line up as follows: in goal Paul Crichton, 8 Paul Cook, 2 Dean West, 11 Lenny John Rose, 5 Steve Davis, 30 John Mullin, 15 Graham Branch, 4 Mickey Mellon, 10 Andy Payton, 3 Mitchell Thomas and 9 Andy Cook. On the bench for the Clarets this afternoon, 33 Ian Wright, 12 Ronnie Jepson, number 7 Glenn Little and number 6 Gordon Armstrong and finally number 29 Alan Lee. That's the lineup for the two teams. They're having the press call at the moment. The referee is Mr. A.N. Butler. We also hope he has a good game as well here this afternoon because that is vitally important.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on the referees, David, in games like this, and I read Brian Lawes' team sheet, the notes in the programme before the match, and he praised Burnley to the hilt, said it was a tremendous season, but of course he'd still like to go out on a high, and the atmosphere in the ground, David, it's tremendous, and you wouldn't think that we were playing a relegated side. The manager came out before the match with a thank you for your support and we'll be back, and the Scunthorpe United faithful, they've given a rendition or two already of we're going straight back up, but that's not to say that the the Burnley fans are quiet. You can hear them now with a "Come on, Burnley," and we've had a few no-nay-nevers. Seconds before kick-off, David, I don't want to know anything about the Gillingham game. That's another game. All that matters today is the victory. False alarm. How many times does that happen? Everybody looks keyed up, and we kick off, David, for that roller coaster ride you described this match as.
Thanks, Terry. As Burnley, as we sit in the Lancashire Evening Telegraph of Lincolnshire stand, it's not as high as Terry said, but Burnley are kicking from right to left towards the British Steel stand here at Glanford Park. And on this near side, it's Harsley for Scunthorpe United. The Irons pressed Burnley into their first defeat back in October. You must remember that one. And a free kick quickly to the Clarets. An offside, the first one of the game. That's early, unusually. It's Paul Crichton, who's been in excellent form since he joined Burnley from West Bromwich Albion. He's been around the clubs, but he's certainly shown excellent form since he came to Turf Moor. And of course he's had 20 odd clean sheets for the Clarets. It's Mickey Mellon interception there as Andy Cook looks on. Burnley pressing forward now. The ball played quickly in on that left-hand side, and it will be a throw-in to the Clarets. It's Paul Cook to take it on this near side. But again, Scunthorpe just calmly play it out. They're in claret and blue, Burnley in a change strip of white shirts, blue shorts and blue socks. Here's Mitchell Thomas, who just nonchalantly puts the ball out for the Clarets on this near side. Burnley doing a spot of defending at the moment. Throw in taken quickly. Mitchell Thomas with a powering header forward. And John Mullin's terrific pace we've seen John Mullin of late. And Mickey Mellon to the left-hand side. Andy Cook racing down this left wing now into the penalty area. Cook's crossed the far post. Andy Payton heads over the bar from 6 yards. My goodness, that was a golden opportunity for the 27-goal hero Andy Payton. But an early chance and a good bit of play from Andy Cook.
Yeah, the ball through from Mickey Mellon. Andy Cook, I thought he'd waited a bit too long because we got a man over at the far post, which turned out to be Andy Payton. He's looking at the gods. He knows really that he should have made a better contact than that. And he could have made that number 28, David. Stevie Davis to clear, but it's Branchy and out to play.
Well, Steve Davis nearly put in our crow's nest commentary position here, just shot past Terry's head there. Steve Davis having no problem with that one to clear the ball. It's going to be a Scunthorpe throw-in on this near side. Well, the suspicions of a foul throw, in my opinion, but Jackson plays it across to that far side. Scunthorpe doing a spot of backpedaling in their own half. Andy Payton creeping in there. Never say die, Andy Payton putting the keeper Ross Turner under a bit of pressure. The ball quickly back in the Burnley half. And Graham Branch sort of lobs it high to that far side. Dean West puts it into touch, and the home side have a throw-in.
Almost a dream start, David, wasn't it? And Andy, as I said, will know that he should have made better contact. It looked to me like he was trying to make a cushion header when really might have been better just going for power, just blasting it on target, and in the end it was just lamely over the bar. But the Clarets will be pleased with that start. They haven't threatened too much, just a misplaced clearance, but we're nicely in control at this stage, and Andy Payton was nearly clear just a second or two ago.
And Scunthorpe pick it up here. Shot fires in, it's wide of Paul Crichton's left-hand post. Steve Torpey, there's stars in his eyes there as he hit that one way outside the Burnley penalty area. And Paul Crichton just to take the sting out of it now, just calm things down a wee bit. All-important match here at Glanford Park as Paul Crichton kicks to this near side. Paul Cook goes in. Mellon with the overhead kick. Push on Andy Payton, free kick to the Clarets. He wants it taken quickly, does John Mullin, but Mr. Butler says, I'd like it taken there, please. And Paul Cook looks round, has to place the ball a couple of inches forward, believe it or not. He kicks it with a faithful left foot. Oh, with that far post, looking for Steve Davis. The ball runs away kindly for the Clarets. A goal kick to Scunthorpe.
already said, David, that I don't particularly want to know what's going on at the racecourse ground, but it's quite strange that at the start of the season, almost 9 months ago, that Stan Turnant said in the first press conference of the season that the game would go right to the very end, and how true he's been this season. To the wire, I think his quote was.
One of Stan's famous quotes there, to the wire, and the one swallow doesn't make a summer. This is a warm day. We haven't seen any swallows, but we're hoping to see some goals, and those goals in the claret and blue of Burnley. Dean West clears long. Andy Payton, the man who's chasing that one. The ball's put out again on that far side. Clarets have a throw-in as they move into the Scunthorpe half. Right-hand side for them. The GMB stand where the Burnley players take that throw down for Andy Cook, who does so well to hold the ball up all season for Burnley. Dean West with the cross then, right up to this back post. Paul Cook, he scored a cracking goal last week against the other week against Millwall. Remember that one, the fourth one that went in. A rocket from him. Let's hope he's got his shooting boots on this afternoon. As Burnley trying to pick this one out again, Graham Branch has wandered over to that far side. But here's John Mullin now, down to the cross comes in from Mullin. Payton can't stretch him for it. Hits the defender as he tries to latch onto that one, Andy Payton. Here's Branch. Back here for Dean West. Another early ball in from Dean West, looking for Andy Payton, but the defender there towers above him. Mellon. They get over to that right-hand side for the Clarets. Dean West picks it up in that white shirt of Burnley. West plays a short one in for Mullin, into the penalty area. Mullin can't get past his marker there, but he's got the ball, crossed it in. Lenny Johnrose, just over the top from Lenny Johnrose in that penalty area. Another encouraging move from the Clarets.
Ross Turner, the rookie goalkeeper, I think he's making his debut, David. He was scampering across his box there to try and meet the header from Lenny Johnrose, and it was just over, and if it had been on target, I'm not sure that the young keeper would have got to that. For a few moments there, you'd think with the home side that Preston and Dean West saw a lot of the ball down that flank and must have put 2 or 3 crosses in on the run.
Scunthorpe pick it up here, midway inside the Burnley half, and a chance falling onto that far side. The cross, had rather a poor show of it in the end, and hit the Paul Crichton's side netting.
A better delivered ball, David, and Steve Torpey was just pulled back off him for the knockback and the pullback, and it would have been 1-0, thank you very much, but thankfully the cross was of the poor quality.
Got our teeth back in here at Glanford Park as everyone keyed up for this one, but Davis just in the nick of time. It was Brian Quayle once again who lurched in the first corner of the game. The opening corner falls to Scunthorpe United. Brian Quayle was stealing on into the penalty area, but Steve Davis was there to save the situation. Corner comes in. It was a mistimed shot. One should give him his leg back for that one, but thankfully it did. Lee Hodges tries to do something with it, wins a throw-in for the Irons as the Clarets again spotted defending. Andrew Dawson elected to take this one for Scunthorpe United. Dawson again plays it in, but West there. Mellon clears it long past the halfway line, and Mark Jackson heads it up. Steve Torpey tries to play it in, and that's too long. Paul Crichton will collect that one. The Burnley fans nestled behind Paul Crichton's goalmouth there, all decked out in claret and blue. How well it looks. And of course the other side, claret and blue, Scunthorpe's colours as well. It's definitely a claret and blue day, but it's more important for the Clarets as Scunthorpe already know their fate. They're playing in Division 3 in the next campaign. Burnley have a throw-in that was put out by Chris Hope, the captain, who just looks on and gets his place in that defence for the Irons. Lenny Johnrose back for Paul Cook. He plays it in for Andy Payton. Back to goal, loops it high in the sky. Glorious sunshine. Oops. Yeah, well, they give the foul on the keeper there, Ross Turner, and you don't get away with things like that, not in these days.
It's the 11th commandment, David. Thou shalt not go anywhere near the keeper when the ball's in the air. And one Scunthorpe player looked as though he was holding off the Burnley forward, but the keeper gets the decision in the end, as always.
Like the days of Nat Lofthouse, when everybody and the ball and the goalkeeper went into the back of the net. But protection is the name of the game on keepers. And the man down for Scunthorpe. It's a free kick to the home side. Mr. Butler right on the ball with that one. And Burnley having to regroup the defence here. Steve Davis marshalling traffic, the Burnley captain. The club captain Gordon Armstrong as well, he's on the bench. It's John Mullin that went in with that rather rum challenge. Free kick then to Scunthorpe, just in the Burnley half. Headed out by Dean West, but Andrew Dawson just lets that one roll. Scunthorpe have yet another throw-in adjacent the Burnley penalty area, left-hand side for the home team. Justin Walker plays it wide. Dawson crosses, it's got to be a good one, but it's gone over the roof of the railway stand there. Probably gone on the railway lines, that one. And very compact, very tight ground, this. Just attendance sort of 9,000, it can just hold over 9 on that one, Terry.
It's quite amazing, David, that I thought there were 2,000 in the railway end. That's the end that accommodates the Burnley supporters who've just started the stand turn and claret and blue army, but there's not 2,000. There are also some down this side which we can't see from our vantage point. Ball right in front of us with Graham Branch, coolly inside.
Branch plays it again down the left-hand side for the Clarets. That was a foul on Andrew Cook, and linesman, the assistant, we all call him I keep forgetting here. We've got a monitor right in front of us here, so keep a lot of stretching out of this crow's nest. If we're not careful, we're going to fall out. But Andy Cook there appealing to the assistant. Paul Cook's crossed to the back post. Steve Davis is up there, but again Scunthorpe managed to clear it. Picked up by John Mullin. Over to that right-hand side. Steve Davis, the wandering centre-back for the Clarets, plays it in with the left foot. A flick on from Andy Payton, was it? And Burnley just can't get control of it here, but Mickey Mellon will here. Davis again launches it high, but the keeper, Turner, will collect that one for Scunthorpe United.
And I would assume, David, from the roars from the Burnley end that Wrexham may have scored.
A massive cheer from the Claret supporters in that railway stand end. Everybody bar the dog knows about that bar us. So it's a throw into Scunthorpe. Come on, you Clarets. Ducking and diving is Lee Hodges over there. Clarets get it away. John Mullin, he seemed to outstretch a leg there. He may have got pulled something, perhaps a hamstring for John Mullin. The ball played again over that far side. Andy Cook fails to keep that one in. And, well, it's sunny and bright here at Blandford Park. It could be even brighter by 4:45.
Quite amazing, David, that the two games of importance to anybody who's a Claret and Blue fan is the fact that Brian Laws, the manager here at Scunthorpe, is an ex-Claret, and of course we're looking at Brian Flynn at the racecourse ground for Wrexham. It is an amazing statistic, is that?
Certainly is, ex-Clarets all over the world, in fact. Free kick once again to Scunthorpe. Justin Walker takes it. Dawson crosses it in, right to the back post. Too long from Dawson. Paul Cook just lets it roll. And the Burnley fans are absolutely buoyant here. So Paul Crichton will feel well really at home behind that goal mouth, Terry.
Well, I noticed that some of the Burnley fans, David, ran down and broadcast to the players what was happening at Wrexham, but I don't think they had to do it. It was just the volume, the cheer that just erupted from those terraces. Tremendous. And I just put a statistic to write, David, that I understand we said 15 times that Steve Davis has hit the woodwork this week. At the annual general meeting of the Accrington Clarets, I was assured by both Andy Payton and Glenn Little, it's actually 12.
It's still an awful lot, but he's our man to score goals in set pieces. And it's a throw-in to the Clarets on this near side, Burnley's left-hand side. Paul Cook takes it. Lenny John runs to the byline. Can he get it across? He does get it across, but a defender in the way. Corner, first one, the opener. Corner for the Clarets, again on the left-hand side. They're playing towards the Scunthorpe United supporters. They're all decked out in claret and blue as well, of course. It's that man with the trusty left foot, of course, Paul Cook. Back post, Davis is up there, but that one's a little bit wide from Steve Davis, wide of the right-hand upright of Ross Turner, the Scunthorpe United keeper, decked out in an all-yellow shirt this afternoon. That's Paul Crichton in his usual green top, black shorts and sky blue socks.
My intentions are to forget Racecourse Ground, David, and I was speaking to a colleague outside the ground, a friend indeed, and he said that he was overly pessimistic. He said, like, we're in a no-win situation. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, we could win, Gillingham can win. I said, it doesn't matter if we win. I said, it's a win-win situation. You've today and you've the playoff guaranteed, and I think that's a wonderful position to be in.
Paul Cook plays it down that left-hand side for the Clarets. The ball put out. It's a Claret throw-in. Mellon this time. Graham Branch lays it on the left side for Paul Cook once again. He hammers the ball in, sneaks up to Ross Turner, who has to catch it on the second bounce. And Ross Turner decides to give it a good kick downfield. Thomas, superb header of a ball. Mitchell Thomas seems to play better in the middle of the park as opposed to the wing-back position it has been playing of late. And free kick to the Clarets then. Referee changed his mind then and decided to give that one to Burnley, and Steve Davis will take this one. Centre circle in the Burnley half. Again, favourite to this left-hand side. Paul Cook can't get there. A handball. No, the referee said no. Well, we thought Mark Jackson had probably used a wrist. Perhaps it was Paul Cook, actually. As when you look at it once again on the old replay here. Ross Turner to take the free kick for Scunthorpe United. Mitchell Thomas there, just trying to, it's running away so fast in fact that they managed to get the second corner on their right-hand side.
I'd have said, looking at that, David, that it was a push on Mitchell Thomas, that the chap just pushed into him and forced Mitchell Thomas to concede the corner.
So everybody ready for this corner for Scunthorpe United. A packed Burnley defence. Paul Crichton collects well from the 6-yard box. Clings onto the ball. Decides this time to throw it out to Mitchell Thomas, wearing the number 3 shirt as he's done all season. And Dean West plays it long. Mickey Mellon going to race on or latch onto this one. Will it fall to Andy Payton? Free kick. And Mickey Mellon, well, allegedly fouled there. Mr. Butler said he did foul, so with no complaints.
You know my theory, David, don't argue with referees. I think he was quite right, but it was a superb run from Mickey Mellon there from midfield, and that's what he's been doing all season, and Dean West found him pretty well with a long ball. Got a big kick there, keeper David.
Massive kick as Ross Turner does that, and this time Lenny John Rose goes down, so Clarets have a free kick just in their own half here. In the centre, Mickey Mellon takes it quickly. He just took that one right on the touchline, Paul Cook. But I think there's a bit of fouling going on there with Harsley, the number 2. Andy Cook comes away with the ball. Lenny John Rose has it at his feet now. He's dispossessed by Lee Hodges, and Scunthorpe are in possession on this near side. Over the head of Mitchell Thomas, and a foul on Mitchell Thomas, and that came in from Steve Torpey, the Scunthorpe number 10. So getting a wee bit niggly, nothing malicious, but a lot of tugging and pushing and all the rest of it here.
I think, David, about 17 minutes, 18 minutes gone, and we've had 10 free kicks up to now, so it really is not flowing. It's stop, start, but that's the enthusiasm by the players, looking to gain every advantage, illegal or illegal.
As Paul Crichton takes the kick again, predominantly down this left-hand side for the Clarets. Andy Cook to the byline, and that one again flies away, and a goal kick to Scunthorpe United. Around about just under the 10,000 mark here at Glanford Park, and we possibly think there's about 7,000 on. The ball back in the Scunthorpe half. Russ Turner. Seen a lot of the ball in this first 18 minutes or so. Mitchell Thomas again, so powerful with his head. Scunthorpe have a throw in there. Right, just on the halfway line, near side, their right hand side, as Paul Cook looks on. Played long down this right side for Scunthorpe. Well, he did well to come away with it, Harsley. Richard Logan plays it in. Now here's a chance on for Lee Hodges, he shoots! Oh, a goal from Lee Hodges outside the penalty area. That was a screamer, and that is what Burnley didn't want. Oh dear. 20 minutes gone. Scunthorpe United 1, Burnley 0.
David picks the ball up, aims back, rockets it in off the underside of the crossbar. No chance Crichton, no chance any keeper, but it did just fall to him well. And before the kick-off rather, I'm sure he got awarded Player of the Season. But that's a good goal, David. You can't dispute that, and no fault there to any of the Burnley defenders, other than the fact that they may have picked up just that bit tighter. And here we see it again.
Well, Clarets on the counter-attack on the far side. John Mullen plays it in, and Andy Cook goes up there with the ball out. A corner to the Clarets. Second one for Burnley, again on the left-hand side. Got a hit straight back of the Burnley side. The ball played at back post. Again, ball out. Corner. Second one in a row for Burnley. This time on the right-hand side. It's a very tight ground, I've got to say that. The ball is pinging from side to side. Mickey Mellon will take this one for the Clarets right now. Burnley got to get back straight into it. Davis goes up, but the header goes way over the bar from Steve Davis in that penalty area from that Mickey Mellon corner. And, well, it was a terrific strike, but it's exactly what we didn't really want. But Burnley, we know to pull them back, Terry, and that's exactly what they're going to do here.
Yeah, we've shown that all season, David, and there's the Stevie Davis makes the header. That's the second time I think he's done it, but just couldn't get above it to direct it downwards. But as long as Stevie Davis keeps getting there, there's chances.
And Scunthorpe come forward again. Harsley on this near side for the home team, watched by Paul Cook of Burnley. Hodges, the man who just scored that goal. Hodges tries another one. That's over the bar from Hodges. This sort of form, you know, you've got to be looking at somebody getting notching a few there, Terry.
Yeah, the Burnley players just looked round at each other, David, there, and said, right, we've got to start picking him up a bit tighter. He's willing to have a dip from some distance, and not too far over, I have to say that. But his first goal, David, the first goal of the afternoon was a stunner. And we could have gone 1-0 up. Let's not forget that with that header from Andy Payne. Handball, I think.
Referee says play on. Hodges again plays it, switches play for Scunthorpe. Midway inside the Burnley half. Picking up here is Justin Walker. Hodges once again, a very busy, active player for the Irons. The Clarets on a spot of defending here at the moment. The ball played out. Yeah, Scunthorpe seem to be playing with bags of confidence. Their fate's already been decided, of course. They're in Division 3 in the next campaign, as I said earlier. But they're probably going to play out with pride. Logan plays it in. That was a foul. Free kick to the Clarets. Steve Davis marshalling the troops there, the captain of Burnley. As Paul Crichton will take this free kick for the Clarets. Dean West picks it up for Burnley. Long ball played again, but Claret Blue of Scunthorpe are there. Mullins in. Dean West stops it from going out on that far side, the JMB stand of the ground. It's played long once again, but I think that'll be a little bit too long for Dean West. And Chris Hope plays it out. Clarets have a throw-in. Scunthorpe throw-in, I do beg your pardon over there. No real hurry to take this one. The captain Hope to take this one for Scunthorpe United. Davis up. Payton just runs away from Andy Payton. Lenny Johnrose header on the halfway line, but again Scunthorpe and Burnley head it back with Lenny Johnrose. Andy Cook being held there. He appeals to Mr. Butler, the referee. The referee has nothing to say about that one. Paul Crichton's here with a, oh my goodness me. And Harsley and Crichton is stranded here, but thankfully the ball has gone out just under the commentary position here, and Paul Crichton was nearly at the halfway line there, Terry.
I don't know who's the more relieved, Paul Crichton himself or us up here, David. It's almost heart attack stuff there, because when he headed it I thought he was going to put it into touch, but he didn't. He kept it in play. He only needed the ball to break. Burnley on the attack, David.
Throw into the Clarets, Paul Cook to take it. As he, Graham Branch is coming to assist, but the ball back with Cook. It's a free kick to Burnley then, as they desperately need to get back on the level terms here. About 25 minutes of the first half. Scunthorpe 1, Burnley 0. Straight into Russ Turner's arms, and he just holds on to the ball. Give his team a little bit of time. Burnley need to settle down, really. Ball went straight through everybody. Paul Crichton collects it. Nice to see him back in his 18-yard area, because you know, things like that. Bruce Grobler used to do that on many occasions. End up at the halfway line, shaking hands with the team captain. The ball over on that far side. Claret throw in. Team West will oblige with this one, just into the Scunthorpe half of the field. Hope the captain puts it out. He's got Andy Payton homing in on him. Burnley creeping up that far side with the throw-ins. Bully, short ball to West, and Scunthorpe give it away. Steve Davis here. Andy Payton gets the header. Lenny Johnrose trying a spectacular kick. Payton there, but again Scunthorpe. Burnley had it back in with Mullin. Now a chance for Andy Payton. Was he brought down? Was he brought down? The claims were there, and Andy Payton really annoyed with the referee, Mr. Butler. He claimed he was brought down in the box. The referee, well, it's very hard to get penalties, Terry.
Scunthorpe Bray, David, come back to that incident shortly, and there's a foul down here. It's given that, and it goes the way of Scunthorpe. But I looked at that decision there, I looked at the reaction from Andy Payton. It's not often that you would see him, if he doesn't think it a penalty, he doesn't object greatly. But there it looks to me like it was the meat between the sandwich, and there's the action replay, and I think that's a definite penalty, David. And he even had a little trip at him there, just to see if he could catch him who was going through. Free kick.
Harsley takes it into the area. Well, that header was thankfully wide. It was the captain, Hope, who'd come up for that set piece and headed it wide past the left-hand post of Paul Crichton. But yes, just looking back on that incident, Terry, justified claims for a penalty. The referee not really on top form, but that header whistling past the post, but well wide in the end, I think. Ball high in the sky once again on the halfway line. A wrench on Lenny Johnrose's shirt, trying to make it an extra large one. And Burnley pump it up again. Payton gets the flick. Hope, the captain, hammers it. High in the sky again. Thomas. Good neck muscles from Mitchell Thomas, but it falls to Hodges, scorer of Scunthorpe's goal. But that ball's short for Paul Cook. And Scunthorpe come down the right-hand side again. Hodges plays it again. Long ball. Nathan Stanton gets a throw-in, and Burnley spending a lot of this game defending at the moment. It could all change, of course. Mentioned to just keep it in, Hodges. Lenny Johnrose takes it away from him. Graham Branch gives it a good thump downfield. Will it stay in? Andy Cook to chase that one. Cook has it at his feet now for the Clarets. Just past Mickey Mellon. It falls to Logan, and Logan just plays it to Dawson, and Dawson comes firing down the far side. Has it gone out of play? The assistant said yes, thank you very much. Claret throw-in. Burnley fans giving the team some vocal support here. Flick on from Mullin. Hope kicks it out.
I'm I'm not going to sit on the fence, David. I'm going to say that that was a definite penalty. He was going through, the player on one side and the other player came in at the back of him, pushing the bike, and he went over as he should do, but that should have been a penalty. Offside, I think, or is that a foul?
It's another free kick to the Clarets. Just approaching the half-hour mark here at Glanford Park in the sunshine. Burnley trailed by a goal to nil, in case, well, you already know that, but Burnley pushing to get that leveller. This one probably aimed for Steve Davis. Mickey Mellon going to take it, but he drags the ball back. The referee perhaps being a wee bit fussy here. I don't know what's going on. He says you can take it now, of course. Steve Davis right in the penalty area there for Burnley. There's a confrontations going on, Terry.
Yeah, I think it was Lenny, John Rose and Stanton, David. They were pushing and shoving, and really, last thing we need is to be down to 10 men. So you've just got to bite your tongue in incidents like that. And await the free kick, and as you said, Stevie Davis at the far post. You'd want him to, wouldn't you? You know what I mean.
Yes, it's going to be Mellon with that free kick into the Scunthorpe penalty area. It eludes everybody. Paul Cook, however, he manages to grasp it, kicks it to the far post. Andy Cook keeps it in. It's out, says the referee. So it was a deep one to the back post. Andy Cook there did his utmost to keep it in. He headed it back into the area, but of course Paul Cook with an ever trusty left foot there. You can see how he can bend the ball really well to that far post. Cook goes up, but the assistant says it was out. Hardline's Cookie. Turner kicks once again for Scunthorpe United. Clarets have that throw-in over by the GMB stand, and West takes a long one. Hope, the captain, it's Chris Hope. Stanton put that one out as well. It's a lot of throw-ins on that far side, all falling to Burnley.
At least, David, on the far side you can actually see the throw-ins right in front of us. You can't. What you can hear is the manager saying, come on Branchy, get forward, and then you can hear the Scunthorpe management saying get out and time and tackle. It's quite interesting.
Certainly that was a foul as well. Referee having words with the captain Chris Hope of Scunthorpe United. Andy Cook just picking himself off the floor. No damage to the rookie Burnley striker then. Paul Cook and Mickey Mellon look on with this free kick. Have we seen this move before? I think we have. It's Mellon to take it. Davis was up there, but he came crashing down in the area. Mitchell Thomas has moved up into the attack here on this left-hand side. Thomas just lays it off. A bit short for Mickey Mellon. So Branch tries one, a deflection, a right foot shot from Graham Branch there. The ball back midway inside the Scunthorpe half already as Mellon puts a foot in. Hope clears it for Scunthorpe United, only as far as Mitchell Thomas. You're going to let that one run out, is he? Still in play, Andy Payton. Ball keeps being popped up in the air. Torpy to the halfway line, leaves it for his captain Hope. Hope plays it wide on the right-hand side. It'll be a bit too strong, perhaps. It's bounced out of play, and Clarets have a throw-in right adjacent their own 18-yard area here at Glanford Park. Well, can we just find out who's going to take this throw-in? The referee would like to know as well, I think. Richard Logan takes it eventually for the home side. Headed out of play. Goal kick to the Clarets. About 33 minutes here at Glanford Park. Scunthorpe 1, Burnley 0. Pushing the back on Andy Cook. John Ross takes it, switching it to that far side. Dean West. Here's Davis. With a deflection, he put that ball through, but Dean West coming through into the area here. And just put up by Hope. Corner to the Clarets. fourth corner to Burnley then in this first half. As always, Paul Cook to take it. Kim Allen takes them and Paul Cook, but a change of sides for the midfielder to the back post. Touch from Turner, the keeper, out again. It's a throw-in on the near side, right down by the corner flag there. Can be taken. Cleared long by Scunthorpe. Graham Branch is here to show for that one back to Paul Crichton as Hodges looks on. And Crichton just manages to get it back for Graham Branch here. High in the sky once again for Graham Branch. And kept in by Andy Cook, but claret and blue Scunthorpe man. It's like ping pong down this near side at the moment. Flick on from Mickey Mellon. Mullin. One for Andy Cook to chase. Turner's out, the keeper. Oh, and they went down very suspicious there. Mark Jackson, as Andy Cook homed in on the keeper and Jackson. Jackson went down in a heap, and there he is.
This is the incident, David, where he's going for the ball and Andy Cook really made a dangerous ball out of nothing, but he just run into the back of him, yeah. But it was so close to Andy Cook just getting onto the end of that, and the goalkeeper did the right thing, just threw the ball out. One or two of their players just put a bit of pressure on Mr. Buckler, the referee, asking him to sharpen his pencil and to click his big pen, you know, take a name, but it really wasn't that. And we'll go back into the penalty incident, David. I watched the action replay while you were describing the action, and the more I see it, the more it looks like a penalty. No harm done, no damage done, players up. Their trainers say, have a word, referee. And Burnley are in possession.
He's going to give the ball back, is Lenny John knows that's the thing to do these days. And a lot of booing going along here. It seems from the Scunthorpe fans, they think they've been outdone, of course. Will it be taken today? Leave it for Paul Cook.
Yeah, and what Paul Cook's going to do is to just throw it back and say, sure, you put the ball out, injured man, have possession. That's the right thing to do.
Davis for the Clarets. His left-hand side, Graham Branch. John Rose's ball. Andy Cook chested down. Mitchell Thomas intercepts, but Hodges picks that ball up from Thomas. John Rose goes in, firing away there on all cylinders. Lenny John Rose, a biting midfielder for Burnley. He switches it over for Dean West on that far side for the Clarets then. 37 minutes gone here at Glanford Park as Hope, the captain for Scunthorpe, heads it forward over the head of everybody, and Dean West gets the free kick. It's right on the halfway line. Dean West to take the free kick for the Clarets in the sunshine here at Glanford Park. Hits it right into the box. Hope rises high for Scunthorpe. Paul Cook picks it up in midfield. It's a high ball. I think the binoculars to see that. Mitchell Thomas will win it though. Davis, can he get round him? This claims for handball. It bounced up at the lad. Perhaps it wasn't intentional. And Hodges here, the man who got the goal, on this near side. Arsley. Another one down the right-hand side, but it scampers out of play. Graham Branch is probably grateful for that one. Yeah, Mr. Butler insisting that everything's taken from the right spot as Cook nods on for Burnley. Hope was rather hopeless header there. Mickey Mellon and Dean West peeling away on that right-hand side for Burnley. Mickey Mellon feeds it to Dean West. Can he get the ball across? That was a free kick, there's no doubt about that. Outside the area, Dean West has gone down in a heap down by the touchline, and it is definitely going to be a booking for the foul on West. Look, watch this again. Good ball played in by Mellon, but the man Dawson in there as well, and that hurt. That really hurt, and a booking.
It wouldn't have hurt half as much, David, if it had been another 6 inches inside, because then it would have been inside the area. And he does in fact take, I think it's Stanton, the name, into the referee's notebook. That's the first one of the afternoon, I think, just on about 40 minutes gone. And you said it was a good ball by Mickey Mellon, but myself, I just thought it was about half a yard over hit, and he was just stretching for it. If it had been perfectly weighted, then he'd all the time in the world to get a good delivery into the box. Free kick just about half a yard outside the box.
It's Mellon to take it. Floated in to the centre, but can't get a head to it. That came off Dawson's foot, and a corner again to Burnley this time. Away on that far side. Paul Cook again. And just get that ball into that back of that onion bag. Cook with that one. Shot from Mellon! What a goal, Mickey Mellon! They don't come much better than that one. Mickey Mellon equalises for the Clarets. A real rocket on 40 minutes. The Burnley fans have invaded the pitch.
Yeah, that's a bit naughty, isn't it, invading the pitch, but a great strike there by Mickey Mellon, didn't it? The corner came across, I think it was about our 5th corner. The goalkeeper went to make the push, the punch, and he struck it from just about 17 yards. Great goal, Mickey Mellon, well done. Brings back memories about the Blackpool game, and the pitch hopefully has been cleared. Burnley fans getting a bit over-enthusiastic, over-excited. The referees has told the police just to come onto the pitch and just to clear it, but we won't concentrate on that, David. We'll concentrate on a great strike by Mickey Mellon. Whistled into the corner, and despairing lunge by the goalkeeper, but he wasn't going to keep that out. One apiece here at Glanford Park just before half-time.
You can't keep shots out like that. Mickey Mellon has practiced all season. We saw him score a corker against his old club at Blackpool. That's another example of Mickey Mellon's shooting power. West. Mellon. West picks it up once again for the Burnley on the far side. One for Andy Payton to chase. A little bit long. Turner collects that one in the Scunthorpe goal mouth. And that's really set the place alight, that goal, hasn't it?
I'll tell you what, David, that's a great time to score, and we'll just see if the confidence drains out of the Scunthorpe lads just before half-time, because I'll tell you what it is, Burnley will just find another extra yard, and they'll say, let's get another one just before half-time. Andy Cook, great control, tackle from behind, push down, Burnley throw.
It's about 3 minutes of normal time in this first half. Scunthorpe United 1, Burnley 1. Branch goes up with the head. Davies plays it forward. Again on this inside left channel for the Clarets. Andy Cook's there, holding the ball up for Burnley. Paul Cook hits Hardsley on the back of the head. Hodges can't control it. Graham Branch heads it up, looking for John Mullin. Mullin takes it down. Mullin does well. Mullin's got pace. Mullin's still going into the box. John Mullin across from him. Andy Cook sweat into the arms of Turner. And my goodness me, John Mullin again. We saw the pace and we saw the speed of the former Sunderland man.
Yeah, and before that, David, let's be honest, a former Claret, and that's his trademark run this season. He's really made that his own. Power surging run into the box, strength got him there, delicate little chip over, and to be quite honest, you know, Andy Cook will be thinking, just like Andy Payton earlier on, that he should have done better with the header.
Spotted defending again. Graham Branch cools a cucumber, hopefully he is. He plays the ball here to the fullback here, Hardsley. It's hit Paul Cook's head, the referee. Paul Cook will tell you that himself. He's telling everybody on this near side, and he's feel a bit outdone by that from the referee. So unjustly, a free kick to Scunthorpe just under the commentary position here at Glanford Park.
Amazing. Referee 5 yards away, plonks him on the forehead. Safe catch by Crichton. Hits Paul Cook on the forehead, and few appeals for handball. And the referee, what does he do? He listens and he gives handball.
We hoped he'd have a good game, but we'll say no more. It goes the way of the Irons again. There's about a minute left of normal time before your half-time, a cup of tea or whatever you're having at the turf. I hope you're enjoying this match so far. Logan plays it in. John Rose for Burnley, who puts the ball out of play, and John Rose and Thomas having a few words there about communications perhaps. Lenny John Rose looks round. He wanted it long, did Lenny, and did Mitchell, and Lenny hit it short and out. Davis gets up, heads the ball away. Graham Branch puts it into touch high. I think it went out the ground, very low slung ground here. And as I say, back of that stand where the Burnley fans are, there's a train line with the electric wires above. I suppose if the ball hits that, we won't be getting that ball back. Claret fans in a buoyant mood at the back of Paul Crichton's goal, but the ball played in once again. Paul Cook gets the ball at his feet, but can't keep it in, puts it out. Third corner to Scunthorpe of this first half then, and it's going to be the number 3 Andrew Dawson who steps up to take it. John Mullen covering the near post there, headed out by Lenny John Rose. The ball bouncing awkwardly, Mullen unable to get to it. Davis does, however. Payton goes in. Cook, can he get there? The ball is high in the sky once again. That ball over for Mitchell Thomas and let that run away. Clarets have a throw in, and we're right on the verge of half-time at Glanford Park.
Great experience there by Mitchell Thomas, David. He could have collected the ball and then wonder what to do with it, but instead he thinks, no, at this stage, just before half-time, we'll have a throw in. Thank you very much.
Well, the white knuckle rider is proving to be just that, as Burnley try to mount another attack here. Davis with the header for Clarets, and Mullins in there as well. So too is Mellon. And can Andy Cook it? Ooh, that was a stars in your eyes effort, as our colleague Ray Turnant, former Claret, says. 35-yarder, and obviously looking to hit the roof of Paul Crichton's net. No chance. Branch. Long ball for John Mullen to catch, and again it rolls away.
You know, David, although we haven't had as much possession as we have in normal games, we are away from home after all that, I still think we're very good value, because I think we should have had a penalty. I think we had 2 great chances of headers bumped by Andy's, one Cook, one Payton, and when you think about their efforts on goal, they've had a long-range shot and one that screamed in. One apiece. Hand back to you, David.
Well, it's better news from Glanford Park at half-time. Lee Hodges opened the scoring for the home side on 20 minutes, but it must be said, a rip-roaring shot outside the penalty area. Burnley trying to claw their way back. They did on 40 minutes, 5 minutes before the break, and Mickey Mellon and Rasper, nobody could hold it, and that was it, one apiece. It's all to play for in the second half. So get your seats ready and get your drinks at Turf Moor, because we're on again in 15 minutes.
Hello Clarets fans, Phil Bird here. Make sure you subscribe to Burnley's official YouTube channel and turn on notifications, otherwise you might miss moments like this. Oh, what a goal! And Wood was there to finish it!
He's spitting Glenn Little, look at us.
Enjoy the video, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Up the Clarets!
away we go. Out of play straight away. Dean West has the privilege of taking this throw down by the corner flag. One from Andy Cook there. John Rose pushed over for Paul Cook. He'll have to come towards it. Neat header on for Graham Branch. Skips into the Scunthorpe half. Branch with a bit of trickery, but he's denied as Mullen picks it up. John Rose for Thomas. Payton goes up, but Scunthorpe on the halfway line with Hodges. Hodges pushing it to the left-hand side. Dawson will chase this one, so too will John Mullen to the byline. And Mullen, well, he just couldn't keep it out. It's a corner to Scunthorpe. The opening one of the second half falls to the home side then. Dawson to take it, as always, for Scunthorpe United. Clarets defending, the Irons coming forward with this dead ball situation into the area. Ooh. Well, it was Hope who had a stab at it inside the Burnley penalty area, but wide of the right hand of Paul Crichton's post. And a goal kick to the Clarets. See that one again. Ball falls to Hope and smashes it wide.
Not dissimilar, David, to the Mickey Mellon goal, but fortunately he put it wide, whereas Mickey Mellon rifled it into the bottom corner.
And Mitchell Thomas's interception, but he can't get through. But thankfully Steve Davis there. Graham Branch was covering. A long ball played down the middle. Back for Turner in the goal mouth. And he has a good look around. Plenty of policemen over on that far side where the Burnley fans are. Hodges, very tricky customer for the home team. Skips past Dean West there. Hodges to the edge of the area. Davis trying to get a look in at the ball. He's crowded out at the end by Lenny John Rose, Mickey Mellon and John Mullen. And a Claret throw-in. Came off Barwick there, the number 27. West with the throw. Andy Cook goes up. Here's Andy Payne. Good nod on for John Mullen. John Mullen edge of the area now. John Mullen into the box. And a shot which is just wide of the uprights. John Mullen at speed. Probably couldn't just take the control he required, but he's nice watched in full flight.
First move, Mickey Mellon takes it between the two, going for the byline. You want to go cross there, and instead he just puts it wide. Could have even got a deflection, but he turned around and smiled. He knew that it wasn't the best attempt that he's made this season, David.
Mellon goes back to Paul Crichton, bouncing ball in that Burnley penalty areas. Crichton with a white baseball cap, kicks long. Hope for Scunthorpe. Here's Dean West, heads forward for Burnley. A chance on here for Andy Cook if he can get round his marker. And Cook fires one just over the bar from Andy Cook, just inside the penalty area. But again, we can see Andy Cook, who he may notch one as well this afternoon.
And his namesake, Paul Cook, David, is just saying to him, look, if you get into a position like that, you've got to make sure it's on target. And Andy Payton's saying, I just wanted the curling ball through. And he went for glory, didn't he? And just grazed the top of the crossbar.
Ross Turner with the goal kick for Scunthorpe United. Mitchell Thomas having a real old battle there. And Turner, and Crichton was there. But it was Brian Quayle who was homing in that Burnley penalty area, and thankfully it was bashed away.
Good covering tackle, wasn't it, by Graham Branch, David? Just whipped it off the end of his toe, and he put it out for a goal, for a corner rather, to the Irons.
They are pressing at the moment, pardon the pun. The Irons have a corner on this near side, their left. And we await for that corner to be taken here at Glanford Park. There was one to the near post. Mickey Mellon got a foot to it. John Mullen, Mellon, and Mellon. It's very confusing, but we know who they are. And Cook plays a great ball. Paul Cook, that is for Andy Payton. And Andy Cook on the far side. It's Andy Payton in the penalty area. Tries a shot on goal. It's knocked back, and West plays it in. Paul Cook was going in as well there. Still falling to the Clarets. John Mullen on this near side. Ball played in by Mullen. Andy Cook can't just get control of it. Played across to Lenny Johnrose. He in turn goes for Paul Cook. Cook crosses it in, back post. Andy Cook plays it across, and Hope, the captain for Scunthorpe, plays it out. Mullen headed down over to Ross Turner, and that's a Burnley attack with a lot of pressure there from the Clarets in the last couple of minutes. The situation is still one apiece here. Thomas for the Clarets. Mellon battling away for possession. Still the ball continues to fly high in the sky as Lenny Johnrose looks up with that one. That was a foul. Sort of late decision by Mr. Butler. A foul on Lenny Johnrose. We thought it was, but we don't like to contradict the referee on too many occasions. He likes things just right. It's Mellon putting the ball forward. It's free kick. Steve Davis obliges with that free kick. Looking for Paul Cook. Cook doesn't get the header. Graham Branch will pick this one up on the far side. Is Mitchell Thomas in support here? Back into the Burnley half. Left-hand side for the Clarets. It's a high ball which is spun out of play on that far side over by the GMB stand. Just failing to get on the head of Steve Torpey there, but Scunthorpe stealing up the far side touchline. Paul Harsley leaving that one. No. Banned substances are coming out here. Nerves will start jangling. It's a free kick to Burnley. The referee having a spot of whistling problems. Whistle happy as he used to be called, but he's having words. As both player and referee moving backwards, now turn round. As Paul Crichton takes the kick. Oh, that was going to fall, I thought, kindly at the time. Oop, that was a foul on Steve Davis as he got a bash on his wrist there. Oh, crack. We heard that one. Mickey Mellon looks round, but Scunthorpe have possession with Hope. Dawson and Hodges on this near side. It's a Scunthorpe throw, despite the fact that Dean West may have thought otherwise. Dawson on the left-hand side to the touchline. Oh dear, that was what you call a Dawson cross. And Brian Quayle looks on in disgust. He completely missed his shot there. Let off for the Clarets.
I nearly said nail-biting, Davis, but I don't have any left. But that was a let-off for the Burnley. Andy Payton chase. Oh, and a poor clearance by the keeper there. Plays it through, and Burnley on attack.
Well, it just keeps in for Andy Cook on this near side. Burnley's right to the byline. Cross comes in. Payton's header. He just didn't get the right touch, if you like, on that one. Paul Cook's claiming that that ball went out, but the referee again not having any of that. And Andy Payton was there, but again it just glanced off his head, Terry.
It did, and the cross came in, David, and I think they just got in each other's way slightly because Mickey Mellon was wound himself up to hit it on the volley again, and Andy Payton just took it off him.
Dawson for Scunthorpe, left-hand side. Well, he made rather a mess of that one. Straight over Paul Crichton's head, into the Scunthorpe fans, right behind his goal.
I don't think he made a mess of it at all, David. I think it was a great cross.
And Burnley fans in full voice here as Paul Crichton takes the kick for the Clarets. Payton goes up. Barwick, number 27 there, plays it forward. Richard Logan here for Hodges. Hodges over to that right-hand side. Paul Harsley with Graham Branch. Harsley shot into the arms of Paul Crichton. Harsley cut inside, used his left foot there.
Going back to the Brian Quayle incident, David, I'll tell you what, that was a great attempt for Scunthorpe, a good opportunity, and he might just win this, might John Mullen.
It's John Mullen on this near side, pulls it back here for Mellon. Lenny John Rose takes over. Again for Paul Cook. Cook bends one in from that left wing. Ooh, and hopes there again. West. Was a foul on Dean West? Foot up on his head, perhaps? No. Mellon. Oh, Mellon, unfortunately, that time gave it away to Logan. Logan plays a long ball down the middle, and it was heading. Down goes the men.
He's going to book him for him, I'm afraid, David, but they were both going for the ball. It was clear, in my opinion, nobody had got the ball under control. Both players had the right to go for the challenge, and because here it is, it's seen again, the ball is loose, they both go, and he's going to get 50-50, and he's going to enter the notebook for that.
Second booking of the afternoon. Steve Davis goes into Mr. Butler's book. A yellow card shown. Free kick to the home side. One apiece here at Glanford Park.
Ideal position, David, for a free kick, pretty central. Left foot Dawson lines it up.
Oh, it's a good one, just over the top, and goodness me, my word, that was a ripper from Chris Hope, the captain, who'd had a stab earlier on, had gone hopelessly wide, but that wasn't too far away.
No, and he fooled us, didn't he, because he made to the left-footed Dawson, aimed and looked like he was the one to take it, but instead it was the captain who came with a right foot curler and just sent the butterflies just into the air again, and Crichton's goal.
Andy Cook on this near side for Dean West now, coming forward for the Clarets, slips it inside to John Mullen to the byline. Can Mullen get a good ball across it? A hard one over to the back post, and it overruns over everybody's head, and consequently a counter-attack here from Scunthorpe United. Paul Harsley into the Burnley half. Logan here, who just has to cope with Lenny John Rose, and you don't get much change out of Lenny, I can tell you that. Clarets throw in just under the crow's nest here in the Lancashire Evening Telegraph stand here in Lincolnshire. Mellon, oh, it was in the wrong side of Andy Payton, and consequently Scunthorpe just moved the ball quietly away up to the halfway line here. Mark Jackson plays it over to that far side. Logan, it runs past Mickey Mellon, but Steve Davis mopping things up at the back. Not only can he mop things up at the back, he can come forward, as we've seen on so many occasions. Steve Davis, it is just perhaps one too many, and Harsley keeps the ball in play. Thomas is fouled, and that foul came in from Brian Quayle on Mitchell Thomas.
If you invite Stevie Davis to come through, David, like that with a run, he'll attack every opportunity that he can get, and he went through, just pushed it off the odd too fast, but goes out and we gain possession from the free kick. Lofted high.
But again, it falls to the claret and blue of Scunthorpe. Hodges here. Watched closely by Mellon. Mellon just made some sort of contact. Quayle does well, he gets round Davis, but Dean West there to the rescue for Burnley as Dean West just plays it long. But a little bit too long. Ross Turner will collect that one in his yellow top for Scunthorpe United. It would be fair to say at this moment in time Scunthorpe have their tails up a wee bit, and Lenny John Rose picks it up in midfield for the Clarets. Oh, that was a little bit too strong. I'd said it was a compact ground, but goodness me, I think that could have gone over the stand and it hit it any harder. Well, it will be a throw into Scunthorpe United. Thomas goes in. John Rose beats it away, but the main man at the back for Scunthorpe just lays it off for Dawson. That was Hope to Dawson. Hodges. Mullen watching him, as well as Dean West, of course. Scunthorpe throw in. Hodges has got himself into a tight situation, runs into Paul Crichton, and what was a foul on the Burnley goalkeeper? Oh, the Scunthorpe fans don't think so, but in our book and the referee's book, which all that matters, it's a ticking off time.
Yeah, just a bit late on the keeper, but I'm just a bit concerned at the moment, David, that the service to our front two lads just isn't of the quality that we normally... substitution, by the way, it's Graham Branch going off, and I can't see who's coming on. It's right in front of us in the gantry. It looks like Glenn Little, and what we could do for a bit of inspiration from Glenn Little this afternoon, I recall the goal that he scored against Bristol Rovers on the turf, goal of the season in many people's opinion. A bit more of that today, please, Glenn.
As John Robb finds Paul Cook. Cook stabs it forward. And once again they run into trouble, but Mullin again, it's going to run away for John Mullin. Clarets fans give him a round of applause. That's going to be a goal kick to Scunthorpe United here in the sunshine. And we talk about Bertie B back at the turf. Well, we have a little mascot here. I think Terry can tell you about him. I think you know the gentleman.
Yeah, it's called Scunny Bunny, David, and people at Turf Moor who used to see the lad running around the ground, banking over for the ball that was out of play. Well, he's now the mascot. He's been promoted.
Roars of approval. There must be more goals. Well, you probably know this at the turf. The Burnley fans are going wild again in that stand. There must be further goals for Wrexham against you-know-who.
We must be the only two Claret supporters in the country, David, who don't know the score at the racecourse ground, but judging by the reaction from the Clarets there, I would say that there is another goal there. Quayle has been getting some good service.
As Quayle played that ball in, and it's Harsley on that far side, plays the ball in. Oh dear, Crichton comes racing away to pick the ball up, and thank goodness for that. Our hearts were in our mouths. Goodness me, and Terry's bitten all his fingernails away. Goodness me. As Paul Crichton, hold of the situation, kicks long into the afternoon blue sky here. High one, really high for Andy Cook. Nail-biting stuff here. Mark Jackson. West header. Mullin. Down for Paul Cook in the Burnley half. Hammers one to this right-hand side, but finds Dawson, the full-back. But a chance for Glenn Little's first touch of the game, but it bounced rather unkindly for the big East Ender, and it's a throw-in.
What you're trying to say, David, is his first touch of the game, and he didn't actually get a touch.
Should have been his first touch. Glenn Little, substitute on the last two games. And he came back from a 3-match suspension. He was substituted at Brentford at Griffin Park on Easter Monday. Came on off the bench against Cambridge United with the 2-0 win at the turf. And let's see now. Scunthorpe keep creeping up the line here. Dawson again with the throw-in for the home side. Hope plays it in. Paul Crichton comes to collect that one in his 6-yard area. 18.5 minutes gone in the second half here at Glanford Park. Burnley 1, Scunthorpe United 1. Mullin, John Mullin, he's so pacey. It was a great cross, but goalkeeper, it went out. So it's a corner? No, it's a goal kick. John Mullin says it's a corner, and the referee says, sorry mate, goal kick.
The reason being, David, that the cross had gone out by the time the keeper collected, and the Scunthorpe fans inviting the Burnley fans to sit down, and that's a bit rich coming from an end where the Scunthorpe fans rarely nowadays are stood up because it is a standing area.
Ross Turner with the kick. He kicks that one just under our position here. Claret's throw-in, near side, Burnley's right. Andy Payne asking for the ball at his feet. Hope climbs above Cook. Dean West keeps it in. Little goes up with a nod on. Hope for Scunthorpe. Topi and Hodges on this near side. It's out. It's out by the assistant. Claret's throw-in. Coming up to 20 minutes gone in the second half here. Let's take the heat out of the situation. Burnley fans are absolutely buoyant. Barwick. It's one to get the binoculars out. Can't really see it. Still in the air, down on the floor now. Down that left-hand side again for Scunthorpe, but Dean West has that one covered. Brian Laws, the manager of Scunthorpe, great favourite at Turf Moor back in the 80s. And we got a Clarets throw, makes a nice change, doesn't it? Dean West will oblige with this one. Little, Glenn on the right-hand side. Oh, it's an inch-perfect ball for Andy Payton. Oh, and a shot from Payton. He blasted over the bar, but it was a good, nice little ball from Glenn Little. Got round his man, and that's the first real thing he's really contributed to. Andy Payton thinking, well, I've scored 27 goals, but, you know.
Could have been 28, and that was definitely Glenn Little's first goal. Lovely little ball in. Andy Payton into the box, hits it on the turn, but just catches the outside of his boot and flashes wide.
Well, the temperatures are rising at Turf Moor, no doubt, in that James Hargreaves stand as you look onto the beam-back pitches here. And Andy Payton, but the assistants quickly, and Andy Payton looks round for an explanation, and he's not happy. But assistant was very quick with the flag. That means a free kick to Scunthorpe. And a lot of directing of traffic from Hope, the number 6.
And if Andy had been onside, David, he would have fancied his chances, because I still maintain he's one of the best one-on-one finishers I've ever seen, and that's going back some years now and seen some quality players, but he's a great one-on-one. Header into the box.
Mitchell Thomas heads it high. Lenny John Rose is up there. Well, it's get it under control, get it out, clear your lines, and oh, it's a scrum. It really is. Arsley's shot. That was well wide, thankfully wide from the Scunthorpe fullback there. But just for a moment, the ball bobbling about. Nobody really can put their foot on it there. And take the heat out of the situation will Paul Crichton now.
I'll tell you what, David, you know that a thriller writer couldn't write a script from 9 months ago, early on in August, way back in August. And Stan Turnett said it would go to the wire, and crikey, was he right. And I've just got to say that it's almost 13 years ago to the day, the famous Orient game, and how things have changed in that time, David. That was a big match, this is now.
Certainly is. It's surprising how quick time has fizzed by. Here's Glenn Little, who usually fizzes by the fullback. Here's Dean West. That ball played in again, but Scunthorpe clear from just outside their penalty area here. Torpy, big lad that holds the ball up, similar to Andy Cook. Paul Harsley plays an early ball in. Mitchell Thomas get the header in. The Scunthorpe fans none too happy. And chest down from Andy Payton. Lenny John Rose couldn't get there, but Burnley can pick it up here with West. Good header from Dean West, who puts the ball out for a Scunthorpe throw-in. One of those headers that the full-back had to win. He did. Here's hope for Scunthorpe. Just places the ball in. Davis is there, and Paul Cook, who hammers that one again, but he doesn't get what he probably thought. He was going to clear it longer than that. Scunthorpe pick it up with Hodges, but again he draws it back to pull it out of play.
I'll tell you what, David, I can see a lot of Burnley supporters in the railway end there with one hand up to the rear, and I'm thinking, what are they doing? Of course, it's the radios that they're listening to. We don't have one, we still don't know, but judging by their reaction, you will think the news is everything but good. Very good indeed from the racecourse ground.
The ball predominantly down this near side. Burnley's right at the moment, hasn't been away from it from a couple of minutes. Tense faces on the Clarets fans behind Ross Turner's goal, and Burnley creeping up this near side then. West with the throw-in for the Clarets, down for Little. Whoops, was it out? Corner. We can't just tell from this vantage point at the moment. We think it's a throw-in right down by the corner flag there. Little picks it up again, just in the area. And the ball goes at the back and into the Burnley supporters. Are they going to keep the ball or left? I don't think so. So he's like a jack in a box here, in and out of the crow's nest. I think he nearly fell out a minute ago. But we have a monitor screen as well here.
You're quite right, David. I stand up, he gets excited, I try and sit down, I try and console myself. I look at the video screen to see where the action is, and I keep looking at my watch, and you will tell me how long there is to go, David.
Yes, Terry, there's coming up to 26 minutes gone in the second half as Clarets pick it up with Glenn Little. Over for Paul Cook. Just leaves it for Mitchell Thomas. Long ball for Mullin, a good ball, accurate ball. Can Mullin get round the fullback, Harsley? Mullin does, and he goes down, a free kick. That's a foul by the fullback on John Mullin, and another booking for Scunthorpe United, as Mullin had his man beaten easily there, Terry.
Super ball out of defence, wasn't it, indeed? And he's pulling him back all the way, as you can see there, because he was really making plans. He's going to get to the byline, but a great ball taken on the chest superbly well. Great skill and pace to get around him, and he could only pull him back as a last resort. Good play by John Mullin, my most improved player of the season.
My sentiments exactly. Now this free kick to be taken outside the Scunthorpe penalty area. Paul Cook launches it in, and the referee, take it again please. He's a wee bit particular, this guy, Mr. Butler. He likes it just right. I don't think Paul Cook knows what he wants.
I'm happy with that decision, David. If it wasn't just hit perfectly, well, they can have another try, learn from it. Will it be a quick one?
And Cook takes a replica, but it falls to Little. Oh, way! Glenn Little, can you believe it? He's only been on the pitch 10 minutes, and Glenn Little gives it Scunthorpe 1, Burnley 2.
I told you the second attempt, David, they didn't get it right the first time. The referee says we'll have it again, and the Burnley players really have to get off the pitch. Headed out there by a defender, comes to Glenn Little just outside the D, smacks it in with his right foot into the goalkeeper's top corner. And really, just to take a black cloud on the horizon, the Burnley supporters really do have to keep off the pitch. This is really, really bad news, and they ought to learn about that. Great goal though, watch it again, the defender thinks he gets a perfect clearance out of it, comes to the edge of the D, Glenn sets his sight, head over the ball, slight hint of a deflection, but into the corner. Great. Forget the racecourse, David, Glanford Park's the place to be, or Turf Moor.
Well, 72 minutes then, Glenn Little give the Clarets a 2-1 lead here at Glanford Park, and we've got Ian Wright coming on for Andy Payton. Is it? Or Andy Payton staying on? Andy Cook's departed, and on comes Ian Wright for the Clarets then. So boosting up, fresh pair of legs for the Clarets. A 2-1 advantage for Burnley.
And when you've a player of Ian Wright's calibre and reputation on, David, what it does do to their defenders, it gives them, they think twice about coming forward and leaving him unmarked. But if they want to get anything out of the game, then they will have to come forward, and John Mullin goes again.
Well, Scunthorpe have possession into the Burnley half. It's Paul Harsley, skips past them all. Logan plays it left-hand side for Dawson now. Looked on by Glenn Little. Hope challenging from Andy Payton.
I don't like tempting fate, David, but when you go 2-1 up away from home, and if the news is good as I believe it is from the racecourse ground, they've got to get 2 here for Burnley to be defeated. It's a good position to be in at the moment.
Well, that's a high one. Stanton gets the header. It was a push on right, but Scunthorpe pick it up again. You're always at most dangerous when you've scored, of course. Paul Cook puts in a telling challenge. Well, in the excitement, Terry said his stats have gone to pot, but who cares? We're 2-1 in the lead here, and it's great news for all you back at the turf, and a 2-1 scoreline to the Clarets.
And I have to say, David, that that's the only statistic we need at the moment.
That's certainly true, but Scunthorpe United come away again but it was a poor effort in the end. It was blazed over the bar, and thankfully that was down the pan. I'm talking about plumbing. I've just gone for a cold shower. Oh, sorry, Terry has, but it's very warm here. We're in the shade. We're quite grateful of that. Clarets fans absolutely buoyant. And singing the Burnley anthem, No Nay Never. Dean West goes whistling out of play. Clearance in the end. We've hit the half-hour mark in the second half here at Blandford Park. Little trying to weave a bit of magic here. He certainly weaved magic for Burnley's screamer on 72 minutes. It was begging to be hit, and he hit it delightfully. We all remember him for that goal against Bristol Rovers. For me and Terry as well, that was the goal of the season for a Claret.
It's quite amazing, David. We got that right twice, didn't we? Called it right. Paul Cook, second attempt, he'll get it exactly right. The clearance came out right, but just before that, when Glenn Little came on, we just said that we needed one bit of inspiration from him, not dissimilar to the Bristol Rovers game, and that was, in fact, in the game up to now, we've had three very similar goals from just outside the penalty area. They got the first one, and Mickey Mellon equalised, and Glenn Little 2-1. Is that the end of the scoring?
I suppose you could say there'd been three screaming goals in this game, and we certainly screamed when Burnley's goals went in, but Scunthorpe have the ball now into the Burnley half. Torpy. Again, playing some control football at the moment, Scunthorpe. Terry Barwick. Logan launches it to the back post. Crichton will catch that one. Paul Crichton. A marvellous keeper for the Clarets.
Yeah, and I'll just support what you've said, David, because Paul Crichton this season, when you think about it, the 40-odd goals, you can hardly remember an occasion where he's not caught cleanly or dropped one. Just one occasion early in the season where he perhaps didn't read one adequately and they chipped him, but in a season that's a great thing when you can't think of any really poor mistakes.
Well, the ball smacked against this Telegraph stand. It hammered against it, made us jump, to be honest. And they're saying, can you hear us at Turf Moor? The Burnley fans, I'm sure they can't, but probably can on the beanback. And Ian Wright's here, and that's put out for a corner to the Clarets then.
The very presence of Ian Wright there, David, forced the error from the keeper, not the keeper, the captain rather, and it's another corner. I don't know how many corners we've had this half. As you said, the statistics have all gone down the pan, but what we do know that is it's a corner taken quickly, Cook with the ball, and Glenn Little on it now.
And Little tries to play one inside for Paul Cook. Nice measured ball in for Cook. It's a goal! No, it's not. It's come out. It's hit the post for one split second. That could have been Burnley's third, and it was Andy Payton.
Andy Payton, it would have been number 28, David. Difference from Stevie Davis hitting the pole. There it goes. Bounces down, up. It's the crossbar, the upright, right on the junction, and out of play. Burnley fans hold their head and thinking, what might have been?
Still could happen. They could get a third. They will get a third. Paul Cook. Mitchell Thomas lays it back for Little. Little chips it in nicely. Oh, he was looking for Payton again. The big defenders were there for Scunthorpe United. Mickey Mellon picks it up, lays it off to this near side. Burnley's right. Paul Cook, but that didn't. Well, Glenn Little wasn't really ready for that one. Paul Cook has it back for Mellon. Mellon with his usual holding job here. Mitchell Thomas crosses in to the near post. Andy Payton hasn't given up. Mickey Mellon has it once again. Oh, it was a bit overcome with that one. Cook, and that's gone out. They went for safety, Paul Cook, and now the troops are marshalling back with Steve Davis and Mitchell Thomas going back into the Burnley half. It's going to be one heck of a afternoon. Celebrations, let's hope for that. Payton now for Wright. Will it fall to Wright? But no. Nathan Stanton was there as Ian Wright homed in. Ross Turner picked it up, cleared it out. Let's look at the old stopwatch, shall we? 35 minutes gone in the second half. Situation with 10 minutes to go, Terry.
Appeals for handball, David, from the Scunthorpe United fans in the standing up in the British Seal stand, which sounds like a contradiction in terms. Didn't see it. I was looking at the stopwatch and used that was handball, definitely. And of course he gets the ironic boost from the Scunthorpe fans. They say didn't see the one previously. Fickle are football supporters, you know. The referee doesn't give it this way, you boo, and then gives it the wrong way, and then you, oh dear, you know what I'm saying. 10 minutes to go, David. It's going to the wire.
And we've seen a couple of Swallows as well. You can tell Stan, they've been looking for him. Two Swallows do make a summer, by the way. Paul Cook plays it in. Run away for Glenn. I suppose Glenn Little will see a lot of the ball in this last 10 minutes or so, running the clock down, keeping possession in the Scunthorpe half. That's what Burnley will be trying to do as the afternoon ebbs away as well. Little's head. Ian Wright's claim for handball. It's a throw-in, I think, from Mr. Butler, the match official here this afternoon. Lenny John Rose has a good look round. He's had an excellent season, Lenny John Rose, since he joined the Clarets from Bury. And Little gets a throw-in for his efforts on this near side. Dean West, ball aloft. He's looking for options. He's found it in Payton. Payton gives it in back. Oh, it came off Dean West. That's a Scunthorpe throw-in. You can actually hear the instructions going out from the Burnley bench here. Tighten up and cover for what remains of this second half, the last game of the campaign. That is 7.5 minutes gone in the second half then. It's a goal kick to Scunthorpe United. 2-1 situation for the Clarets. Mickey Mellon and Glenn Little on the score sheet for the Clarets this afternoon. As interception from Paul Cook there. Played long for Ian Wright now, then a chance perhaps. It's bouncing kindly. Is it bouncing kindly? Ian Wright eventually, just on the 6-yard line, and suddenly the goalkeeper with the yellow shirt collects the ball, but it never bounced so kindly for Ian, did it?
Took the words right out of my mouth, David, because it just never came down for him. He was looking for the opportunity all the way, and he just might have got here we go again, David. Hearts in mouth, played through to the goal scorer, Hodges.
And on that far side, Scunthorpe again. Harsley crosses in. And it's rather a strange one from Harsley, the fullback. It will be kept in on this near side. It's gone out. It's a Scunthorpe throw-in. Yeah. Barwick. Burnley cleared out the danger. Paul Cook with the header. Lenny John Rose. Was he fouled? Of course he was fouled. I think the Scunthorpe fans, because again Mr. Butler a little bit late with his decision, I think, but it's still given. It's a Burnley free kick, and Burnley obviously in no great hurry to take this one.
You know, David, when you think about it, the change around in fortunes, and this is the incident with Ian Wright, and you could see it just didn't fall for him properly, but he was there. But this is the difference, David, that a difference in management and chairmanship and everybody associated with the club, not least the players, that you go down, you go away from home, 1-0 down. You could never see a way back for the Clarets, but this season that's all changed. They've gone really through, and we talk about team spirit and resilience, and what it really means is that your midfielder's willing to run 40 yards with no chance of getting the ball just to take defenders away in the last minute. That's what gets you results. Incidents like that. Andy Payton always going for the half chance, quarter chance, and that sort of spirit and atmosphere spreads all its way through the team, and that's why Burnley can go away from home these days, and still when they go one down you still think there's a chance.
Certainly true that. A change around in fortunes for Burnley Football Club then, as we look on from the commentary position here, as Lenny John Rose up, Barwick for Scunthorpe. Davis gets a header in. Hodges is there as well. Hodges ends up with the ball, but a little bit too fancy for his liking as Mellon plays it down this near side. Ian Wright will chase that one, but it's going to run out of play. Scunthorpe's ball.
Well, there were shouts of handball, David, and I agree. Once of a day would have said he unlaced it. And the spirit that I was talking about just a few minutes ago, it was when Ian Wright there was running for a ball where it was a no-hope ball, but he still went for it. You've got to win this, Mitchell, and he does.
Barwick with the header for Scunthorpe. Thomas doesn't get on that occasion. We thought that was a foul, but obviously again, well, give that one. Has he not? No, he's evened things up actually, Mr. Butler. He's rather a good chap really at this stage.
The referee just holding play too soon. Is there a substitute? I think it's a Scunthorpe. 8 and 26, David. I've just had a quick spot. Hodges off the goal scorer, and 25-26 going on. I think it's Guy Ipua.
So Guy Ipua coming on, number 25, last throw of the dice for the home side then. As the Clarets, well, they just want to enjoy the afternoon and keep it tight now. About 3 minutes of normal time. Ipua is on and is into the area. Shot from him, and it's over the top. Thankfully again, his first touch was a good touch, and he was on for a goal, Terry.
Yeah, and he's the one, David, isn't he? He scored 2 at Turf Moor in a game where we really hammered the Irons. Forgive that pun, it's the first one of the afternoon, but you will forgive me for that so late in the game with the first pun. And he got clear, and a good shot and a good effort. And if you recall that game back in October at the Turf Moor, we really did, I said hammered them, and I'm not going to refrain from using that pun, and we did, and it was Perez, their player. And it might just be clear.
Assistants flagging on that far side. It's a free kick and a push as well. So a free kick to the visitors. We're the visitors, for goodness sake. It's all getting excited. We made it very much like a home game here at Glanford Park. It was Perez that had a great game at the Turf, the French goalkeeper, who we saw him playing Cambridge, didn't we, the other week? Classy goalkeeper. And Scunthorpe in possession. Hope. He turns one way, past Andy Payton. Hope just plays it in. Dean West plays it, gives it him straight back. Barwick, who just lays it off for Jackson. Interception, whoops, from John Mullen. Can't keep it in. Scunthorpe on that far side of the GMB stand have a throw-in. Well, I make it a minute of normal time, but there will be a fourth official, of course, who will always add a wee bit on at the end in any game. Throw in once again. Harsley will take it for the home side. Logan for Harsley. Beaten down by John Mullen. Corner to Scunthorpe United on that far side. It's really the third or the fourth, but who really cares as long as they don't get anything from this. Burnley to keep it tight as this dead ball situation from Scunthorpe comes in right now. Oh. Claims for handball not given. Couldn't really comment on that one. I put on the near side here for a big chap, seems to have a lot of skill. Dawson heads it up, Wright comes in here for Burnley. Wright nods it down for Andy Payton. Andy Payton now at the edge of the area, still Andy Payton. Shot from him, straight at the goalkeeper, Ross Turner, but Andy Payton travelling at speed, and he did the right thing there, Terry.
Debatable, but I'll give it to David, because he's 27 goals, and you don't get 27 goals if you're shy at having a pop. But Ian Wright just looked at him and said I was in perfect position for a slot through, but Andy Payton, as ever, hungry for that 28th of the season. And the referee just says, hang on a minute, and there's a substitute. It's Ronnie Jepson, and Andy Payton goes off. My player of the season. Great reception from the travelling fans from Burnley. Ronnie Jepson hugs him, comes on. Stan says, get in there, mix it up, anchor it down. We want to keep what we've got already. 2-1, and that's what we're keeping.
The ball played in again. Mickey Mellon, edge of the Burnley area. Hits it high, down towards the end of where the Burnley fans are. Russ Turner, the keeper, looks on. We're going to keep that ball in if we can, but obviously it's going to be a drop kick here. Long clearance from Turner. We're over the 90 as Torpy plays it across. Mullen intercepts. First touch for Ronnie Jepson. Good lad Ron plays it in again, but again Scunthorpe have it near side with Hope on the halfway line. Hits a long right-footed pass, which is right into the arms of Paul Crichton. He says thank you very much, and you can see the scoreboard there at the railway end. Scunthorpe United 1, Burnley 2. Doesn't say anything about the race course, but we're only interested in this one. You back at Turf Moor will know the other one. We're just concentrating on Scunthorpe and the Clarets.
Experienced Ian Wright there, just invited the tackle, David, and he gets a few unkind words from a few of the Scunthorpe fans nearby, and of course it inevitably brings a rousing chorus of Ian Wright from the Burnley fans, who I don't think there's one of them sitting down in the seats. They're all at the edge of them, David, at the moment, and it's a free kick. We scored from one similarly. Can we do it again?
We'll hope for that one, as Paul Cook's just running the clock down by the corner flag. And it's a corner, so that's he's done it right, of course. The ball's gone into the Burnley fans, and probably a while before we get it back. Oh, we've got it back now, I think. Playing volleyball with it at the moment. Everybody wants to touch it, and why not? Glenn Little again, back for Paul Cook. He must get back on side, and Glenn Little, oh, trickery from the big lad. Oh, again. Ducking, weaving and diving. Oh, and Hope misheads it there. But he has it at his feet there. Burnley fans ready to come on to the field. And there it is. Burnley have collected 3 points here. And the Burnley fans go absolutely wild. Automatic promotion, it must be.
Joyous scenes, David. They're just holding back police to stop them going into the far end. But can you believe that? It looks like promotion. We can only assume that the result is as it ought to be from the racecourse ground. And who'd have thought it at the end of the season? Glenn Little there is chaired off. 3 policemen hold him up to get him onto the shoulders. And Glenn Little there being walked away. Great signs. Morecambe Clarets, you can see that. Wonderful scenes. Good natured, I'd like to think, and I've seen a Welsh flag, David, so that's great. Hand over to you to just describe these joyous scenes.
Well, thankfully they've come right in front of the TV gantry here. A mass, and I say a mass, of claret and blue. Big Nose Clarets, Morecambe Clarets, Fleetwood Clarets, every claret under the sun, in fact, and they are happy for one real reason. They're back in Division 1. This has been a great season for Stan Turnant and the boys. And who'd have believed it? They said it was going to be tight. We didn't think it'd be this tight, Terry.
And it was absolutely brilliant, David, and of course what matters at the moment is the fact that the shouts of Ewood, here we come. I'm not bothered about that, David. If it's not back in the big time, it's certainly back in the biggest time, because our chairman's been telling us all season that the place to be is promotion, and it's right. And wonderful side. Look, can you see us? Can you see us on the box? Can you see us at the turf? And everybody wants to be on the big screen at Turf Moor. Joyous scenes, David. And the game seemed to end so quickly. Would you have thought that this could have happened? Ah, dear.
Not half. I'll tell you what, there's one or two people in fancy dress as well. It's fabulous. It's absolute. It gets to a stage where you say it's speechless. It got to a stage in the season where it said, yes, it's playoffs. No, it's automatic promotion. Yes, it's playoffs. It was a seesaw ride right to the wire, and Burnley, I'm very, very glad to say, are up at the back of Preston North End. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. We have the trailing, the travelling of the playoffs. That will be also hard. The highlights running through, you can see the Burnley fans. Glenn Little scoring his goal there. 3 screaming goals, a sunny afternoon, promotion, a few beers. What more can you ask for?
Can't ask for any more than that, David, but I'd like to say that my lucky Ian Austin benefit tie, it did us proud against Wrexham at the turf, 5-0. The Wrexham connection comes good again today. I've seen 1 or 2 Welsh flags in there. Wonderful scenes, and people are on the mobile phones. They'll be ringing back to the turf, back to the loved ones. Here we come. It's a great thing. And the Accrington Clarets are on their weekender at Grimsby tonight. They'll absolutely paint the town, not red, they will paint the town claret. And it's No Nay Never, which is a wonderful chorus. I'll be back in Accrington tonight, David. I suppose 1 or 2 shandies, as you say, 1 or 2 shandies, and I'll receive the congratulations of 1 or 2 of the Rovers fans, and I think they mean it. Every Preston fan I've met in the last few days has said, do it, we want you to get up there, and well, that's good. And promotion the last time, 5 years ago, via the playoffs. We didn't need that this time. We've done it in one. Great for Lancashire. Preston, they're up, we're up. And of course, if we've got the derbies next season against Blackburn Rovers, we've got the derbies next season against Bolton. We don't know what happens with the Manchester City connection, but it's a great feeling here at Glanford Park, David. And there are cheers there, and I think that means it's it, David.
Unbelievable scenes here at Glanford Park. The result's been confirmed at the racecourse, and the Clarets go marching into Division 1. Amazing. A massive roar. There's a shirt from every decade that Burnley have played in a claret and blue strip.
Hello Clarets fans, Phil Bird here. Make sure you subscribe to Burnley's official YouTube channel and turn on notifications, otherwise you might miss moments like this. Oh, what a goal! And Wood was there to finish it!
You just spit at Glenn Little, look at us.
We hope you enjoyed the video and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Up the Clarets.